Hey, it's Jason with jamzDOTnet, cars, DIY, and adventures. I've always been intrigued by laser cutters and engravers. And I have the Creality A1 Falcon laser cutter engraver that I'm about to unbox and see exactly what this thing can do and if I can even figure it out. I have no experience with one of these, never used one. I've only seen what they can do. And I'm hoping I can do some jamzDOTnet logos, Christmas ornaments, and a bunch of other stuff. So let's go and unbox this bad boy. It was $549 and take a peek at just what it can do. Let's go. Okay, so this bad boy is $549. And one of the super cool things, this is great for folks that are new to doing laser engraving and cutting and all of that good stuff, because if you buy the materials from them, it will auto recognize what it is you're cutting. So I have a bunch of wood in here that I intend to use to engrave and etch some specific things. Now you can use wood, you can use metal, I think you can do glass. You have lots of possibilities. The box is pretty heavy, so if you're moving this up a flight of steps, take that into account. It has a little bit of weight to it. They say if you're a newbie, that's me, they guarantee 100% success. It has a camera built in, so when you use the software, you'll actually know out of the gate what your design area looks like. So I'm pretty pumped up about that. As I mentioned, the auto materials recognition, no assembly needed, safety anywhere. You don't need, it's fully enclosed. A lot of them are not fully enclosed, so it can extract smoke and whatnot, and it has this acrylic that you can see into when you're actually doing things. So you don't need like safety glasses and that sort of thing. It's designed to fit in any space, and they have free software to do much of what you're going to do with it. So let's lift this out of the box. Again, no experience. I've never done anything like this. So if you're like me and brand new to this, well, you're gonna learn with me. It's nice doing a project inside today. We're under like an intense heat wave, and I'm just enjoying the air conditioning. It's a pretty dang cool look, that I'll say. You got all the protective material on it, which I'll take off, and you have lots of stuff inside here protecting the various bits. You got your power brick here, a bag of different bits and brushes and probably tips for the engraver, the instruction manual, power cable. This looks like the hose that's gonna suck the air extraction out and make it not smoky wherever you're doing this. This looks like an important piece in here. It's definitely packed well, which is great. It comes a long way. These are manufactured in China. A sample piece of wood, more foam inserts here. I'm glad today is recycling day and trash day, because boy, I got a lot here. So that is the box. Metal casing, acrylic front so you can see in it, acrylic top so you can presumably see in it as well. Seems like a pretty well-built machine. And actually, as I was here, I realized we have this coaster from years ago, and that's an example of what this can do. Actually, look, it says Laser Eye Design Studio. So they used a laser machine to do this. I'm going to be able to make these myself as well. Yeah, see, I wasn't kidding. You're going to get a lot of trash. Okay, this is what it looks like all unpackaged. It came with film over all of the acrylic. I got to take this handle off back here because there's still some a little bit up here, but I'm just going to keep that on for now, and I'm excited to test it, but I'll get the rest off. You can see the size. This is the Bamboo Lab A1 3D printer. You can see the width is about the same if you take into account the filament, but you definitely need some space for this bad boy. And then on the side, emergency button, I presume to stop it, your power button, on-off switch, power cable, air pump cable to lock it, a rotary kit, the air inlet, and a Type-C connector, presumably to connect your laptop. And then you have the air inlet back there. But this is the Falcon A1, everybody. I guess they gave me like 2 of these or something. I don't know. I gotta read and see because I know there's one of them, but then I have this bit here. So, okay. So step 1 is to take the air pump and pull this little guy out the top. You can discard that presumably. I'll keep it aside. And then you want to hook this tubing up to that. So that just will slide right on. So I have that silicone tubing hooked to it. Pretty easy. Connect the air assist device and install the silicone tube. So then you hook this to the side. So on the side, you have this thing, this is air inlet. So take the tube and this is what's gonna feed, I guess, air in to help with the smoke and all of that. So that just slides right on like so. Okay, then the next step is to take the power cable from the air assist and plug it into the air pump port on the side of the engraver. So it will only go one way. This is like the old school terminal type connector. It reminds you of computers, but that flat end will face the top and you plug it in. And now you have your air assist plugged up and drawing power. It has that little silence or tabs, so it shouldn't make too much of a vibration on the table. So the next step's gonna be to hook up my exhaust. So they give you this hose clamp that you can put over it. They also give you a screwdriver that you can use on it. So you're gonna wanna just fit this over the little pipe. So you're just gonna wanna take it. I usually put it like towards the bottom and then just kind of feed it over and twist it on. Make sure you don't rip it or anything. But it goes on just like that. And then take the clamp and put up over it like so. Make sure it's all the way in the back on each side. And then you just screw it down and clamp it in. Okay, so connecting the power cord was the next step. It just plugs right here next to where the air pump went. And then it said you want to take your keys here and turn it to the on position, which would be towards the right. So I'll put the key in. And now it's in the on position. And then it says hit the rocker switch. Okay, my emergency switch was pushed in. That's why it wasn't turning on. Make sure that bad boy is off. Oh, sorry, not on. And this is it powering up. And when we look at the instructions, there's not really a whole lot of additional steps here. Connect the power cord, turn the rocker switch, I did, and then indicate different switches and whatnot that's happening. I assume it's not going to be blowing anything. Oh, it's blowing. It is blowing. So that little pump is, it's a very light air coming out of it. But it was doing a little bit of blowing in there. And I guess this just triggers when it needs to be triggered. And then instructions for use. So they don't give you a lot of what to do once you get it plugged up, but I'm gonna go ahead and download the Design Space software here onto my laptop, Windows, and then I will use the USB cable that they provided to plug it in to my laptop. Now the funny thing is, I do have a USB port. Some of these laptops don't have the USB ports anymore, but I do have one, luckily, so I'm good to go. So I've plugged it in USB to the A port here, and I've downloaded the software, so I'm going to go ahead and do the install of the software. Falcon Design Space 1.7.6. It should be the latest one. So let's go ahead and go through this setup. That video had them taking this piece of wood, I guess this is maybe to calibrate the lasers, and putting it in and doing stuff right away. So I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna take that, and I'm gonna take this guy, and I'm gonna see what the heck they were doing. So I knew they just put the wood in here, so I'm just gonna lay the wood in. Using the calibration card, make sure to calibrate during the day when there is sufficient light and the LED is on. It is not recommended to calibrate at night. If you're using a honeycomb panel or any other structure base, please cover the working area. Make sure that the surface of the circuits pattern card is clean and tidy, which is this. If image acquisition fails, adjust the position of the calibration card towards the center. When aligning, ensure that the material thickness matches the actual engraving material. After the calibration is completed, the relevant data will be saved in Ightburn. Some typos on this. Recalibration is required if the camera changes. After alignment is complete, if the material height changes, realignment necessary. Not too helpful. I don't really know what they're saying here, so let's just keep watching the video. I'm going to take this multi-level block out. I swear none of this is in this instruction manual. It says, like, after placing the materials, use multi-level focusing strips to adjust the height of the laser. So I guess you have to do that each time. So I guess what you're doing basically is putting the wood in, using that little QR code thing, and then you just pull this up. Oh man, mine's like, oh, okay, you pull that up. The laser's like all the way at the bottom, so let me put this wood back in the center. So you just pull this all the way up, And then you just lay this in. So then I'm just gonna lay this in. So I see what he's doing. So he's adjusting these so it has the right height. So it's for the thickness of the material that you're doing. So you can basically see this is the middle one, base wood, right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay the engraver right on the base wood middle, and then he's tightening these. So then it's gonna presumably hold the engraver in place. So not too bad. So I think, and then you're gonna pour that out. So now it's the right height for the engraver. So this is a really important piece because, like I say, you lay it down, it would tell you the thickness. And that says cutting thickness of basswood 4 to 6 millimeters. So put that aside. So then it wants me to click the frame button to begin to focus it. Okay. Place the highest level of the multi-stage focus bar to focus. After closing the protective cover, that I did not do, press the frame button. Why is my frame button X'd out? Why does it think I didn't do something? So I've closed everything and there's an upgrade to the firmware. So I'm wondering if maybe that was prohibiting me from doing it because it needed this firmware upgrade. So let's go ahead and go through that. I'm at 13% now. And I suppose as it's upgrading the firmware, it just goes off like this constantly because it says do not close the pop-up window or disconnect the device. And I guess that's a little warning not to disconnect it. I have no idea, but I'm at 59% now. I'm gonna go through this setup again. The A1, install the equipment. Device is connected. It says at the top, equipment testing. Place the supplied basswood board in the center. I did it. Adjust the laser. Height, I did it. After closing the protective cover, click the frame button to ensure the laser is on the material. Finally, click the start button. All right, so now the frame button is enabling me to click it. So that firmware update must have been it. So this laser was doing some stuff. Ooh, I can see the little laser on the basswood down there. So finally click the start button. Okay. Ooh, look at that. You can see the smoke in there. I'm curious what it... I mean, you can smell that smoke coming out of this bad boy. I'm gonna go ahead and let this little thing do some venting outside. Because it's basically just etching it right on that wood. It's just burning it right on there. And then you can see this is doing its thing right here. But this is the first setup. I'm gonna go ahead and look at this pipe again here. And I mean, in my opinion, you've got to vent this thing or have that extra device that purifies the air because you can just smell the burning wood. It even looks like it gets a bit smoky in there. Okay, so far, it was a bit frustrating with the software because I didn't realize you had to update the firmware. Once I did that, it let me go through the process. So I'm keeping this part in the video because perhaps you'll see and have a similar issue that I had. I will say when it's etching or engraving, you know, which it looks pretty dang cool. It's the laser is literally burning into the wood. You can smell it, and it's not hot to the touch. I ended up doing exactly that, inventing this thing outside, because, you know, it smells literally like burnt wood. So I think I'm going to want to invest in the purifier, because I don't think I would want to or be able to do that in this closed room, something that's really intricate and big. But let's use a software and let's use a design and show like how simple it is, allegedly, to do something. I'm gonna do something very basic to really just have this video show the install, the setup, and the initial usage, and then we'll do something a little more complex in follow-up videos, where I think I'm gonna get that purifier for follow-up videos. Let's go. And how cool is this? This is the camera that reads those QR codes and everything, built right in. And then when you shut the hood, it knows it's shut. So I've just adjusted that new wood in there. And let's look for, look, you can do dog tags. Let's look for something a little bit easier to do. So this is a section, please calibrate during the day if the workbench contains a large number of similar structures. So use the data cable to connect to a computer. Select the Falcon camera and perform calibration. So I'm at camera here. And then it says select the camera. It's selected. And then say camera calibration. And then you click this little guy here. So you got to put the, I got to put this dotted thing in here. So let's remove that. And then you got to take this and put in. So it looks like you got to actually put this in the upper left of the unit. And then you have to go here and click that and then say get image. After calibration once, you can use different height, base materials, and thickness for alignment. Oh, well, I did get image. What was my score? An 80. All right, so that's good. So then you have to open this up. So it's not too bad. Then open this up and then move this into the middle. You can see my hand there. That's kind of cool. So put that right there. Get image. 78. So then you move this over towards the right here. Get image. 80. And I'm going to say next. Place a wooden board with a size in the center of the work area. Click frame. So I'm going to take that test board they gave us. I'm going to put in the center of it. I'm going to click frame. So it's basically just framing out this whole board. And then start engraving. So then you click start engraving. Oh, it's going right over where I already had something. That's okay though. It's just drawing like dots in the middle and the corners. I'm like a number 4. So on this, what you want to do is double click in the center of each in sequential order. 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4. And it creates like that diagram, and then you say complete. So this is my wood, and then I can drag over what I want to put on the wood, and you can actually see it. So like it's hard to mess up per se what you plan to do, because this is the wood I want to engrave on, and then I can just click start. So that F is from the demo, and then you can see here, this is the side of the wood, that's the side, and I want to do Jack's Adventures with enough room on each side. But what I want to do is, I'm going to actually flip this wood over, and I'm going to use the back of it. So I'm going to go ahead and click start, and then this is going to, well, it's doing it actually not on the wood. So that's a bit odd. Start position absolute coordinates instead of what was current position. Processing path auto path. So before, I think I just had it wrong with current position. So I'm doing absolute coordinates, and now I'm going to click start. So yeah, now see, it's moving exactly where it should go. So it's basically doing its thing right on that wood. Jack's Adventures. Okay, so it ran. So the lesson learned is you have to do absolute coordinates, and it did its thing right on the wood. So what I want to do next is a more detailed sample from the test library that they provide. So I've made my account, so now I'm going to say, and it still says I'm not logged in. Okay, so hopefully I'm logged in now. I want to do this cool design here. So make it. And then I'm going to go to camera. I'm going to say photo. So I want to put this exactly where it needs to be. I'm going to put it, oh, I messed that up. I guess it's actually okay being at the bottom, but it would probably be cooler to be up towards the top. So I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to say start. So then it moves it exactly where it needs to be. And it's going to do its etching here. Look at that laser. It's pretty dang intense, man. Isn't it? Just let it go. Okay, so I'm doing the Falcon logo below Jack's Adventures. And I'll stand by what I've said. I mean, this thing puts out a lot of smoke, so you got to vent this outside or have that purifier. There's no way you could do this in like an apartment or an enclosed environment. I mean, it would probably set off a smoke detector. But this is doing its thing in there. We'll see how it looks. That's it right there. You have to make sure you say absolute coordinates or it keeps going to the wrong section. So that was a lesson learned as well. But given I've never used one of these in my life, and probably in 45 minutes to an hour, it took me a little bit longer just because of some goofy mistakes, but I would say in 45 minutes to an hour, you can kind of sort this and get going. I'm gonna definitely try my logo when this runs, but let's just let this continue to chug away and see how it looks when it's done. Okay, it's making pretty good progress. It's about to be done here, and I'm excited. It's looking pretty good. It does emit, I know I keep mentioning this, but I think it's important, a bit of smoke. I mean, it's burning wood right now, so it smells like burning wood. This has taken, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, so it's like 3D printing. You know, you're not gonna be mass producing things like a factory. You're gonna be going slow and steady with this Falcon A1. But it's doing a really good job, no mistakes so far, and it's gonna be finishing very soon. Okay, so it's now cutting it. So this laser was really intense, cutting the circle, so it will be cut out of the wood. And you can see just how slow and steady it's going and applying just so much of the laser to get right through the wood. Now, I made a mistake and made this a little bit too close to the test jacks adventures I was making, but it's actually going to be okay once it cuts it out. This design will be okay. But this is just precision at its finest, cutting this out. So if you have like a pattern like that coaster I showed that we bought years ago, it's going to cut it out for you. That laser's about to meet at the end here. It's still running on my laptop like it just finished. It goes back to its resting spot, and we're done. So let's open this up. It doesn't really smell smoky inside, which is awesome because it goes out. And we're gonna pull this out. That looks awesome. Huh, look at that. And we just made our first dragon and completely cut it out. Okay, I'll admit it. I've never used one of these ever. I've used plotters and stuff and know how to use a computer, obviously. But the fact that I was able to do something like this with zero background and zero knowledge is a testament to the capabilities of the Falcon A1 by Creality. This is an amazing machine. I'm gonna print a bunch of these and engrave a bunch of these for like Christmas ornaments with like the silhouette of my family. I'm gonna do little coins for the jamzDOTnet logo. And my son has a bunch of like, we can do like coasters with like Pokemon stuff, anything you can imagine. I only have a box of wood somewhere in here. So all I have is wood to experiment with, but I have a lot of it. I'm gonna go ahead and order some of the other applications like metal and everything that they provide, but I'm gonna stick with what they have initially just because it makes it easy in terms of knowing the depth and everything. And then I'll get a little more adventurous and use my own wood and stuff as I feel I know how to use this machine a lot better. So for 549 bucks, I'm printing stuff within an hour of hooking it up. I keep saying printing. I'm engraving and laser cutting stuff. I'm using a laser in my house. Like, come on. Is this like the year 3000? Because when I was growing up in the 80s, this was like what scientists were doing, not what dudes in the basement like me were doing. But this is Jason with jamzDOTnet, cars, DIY, and adventures. I'm gonna make my logo next. I'll probably pop it up at the end of this video, but I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope that this was helpful because a lot of the videos jump right to using it. I wanted to show you everything and show you the mistakes I made, so maybe you avoid those. Have a great day, and if you need to do some laser engraving, this bad boy is awesome. And the fact that it's totally enclosed, it didn't get all smoky, and I vented it outside.